Again, let me set the record straight. The year was 2005. I was 20. I was, due to other childhood sexual abuse, in DCYF custody at the time. I had recently moved into an apartment in Westerly under the care of a DCYF independent living program. Dylan LaPeitra was renting an apartment on the first floor. I was on the second.
Bill, I don't think this, ma'am, this is not, those details are not appropriate, ma'am. I apologize.
He raped me and I said it.
Thank you, ma'am. Comments. But before we do that, I would like to take a point of personal privilege. And it has to do with an article that appeared in NPR, the National Public Radio, on 7/21 regarding me and my conduct at a meeting recently, an executive board meeting. I have a written statement that I will be happy to share, and I'll be happy to share it with you, Mr. Nunes. A Westerly Town Council executive session agenda item and vote regarding a critical litigation matter was originally scheduled for a 7/10 meeting. I received written correspondence from Councilor Overton on 7/5 asking we delay that vote. He indicated he would be out of state on vacation during that week. Similarly, Councilor Cialaba advised she would also be away on vacation that week as well. She also requested a delayed consideration of the matter. The request from both councilors was shared with the full council, and it was agreed all councilors should be present and afforded their elected right to vote on this important pending matter. Further, Westerly Town Solicitor William Connolly was also scheduled for vacation out of state that week, adding support to the collective decision to delay addressing the item until 7/24. During the executive session proceedings of 7/10, Councilor laPietra, insisted the rescheduled item be considered. He made a motion to consider the non-agenda item, and I ruled him out of order. He persisted again and was informed that we had agreed and a commitment had been made to Councilors Overton and Cialaba to ensure their attendance on 7/24 to cast their votes. Councilor laPietra motioned again to vote on the issue. No second was offered. He persisted further, noting the presence of 5 councilors constituting the legal quorum. Admittedly and regrettably, I had reached my limit of patience and tolerance for Councilors laPietra conduct, interruption, and disrespect of me, my office, and the council executive session proceedings. I apologize for my actions and regret the outbursts and discourse that ensued. My action to delay the vote sought by Councilor laPietra was solely out of respect for the previously agreed council commitment to Councilors Overton and Cialaba to delay the vote until all council members were present. I did not expect a procedural ambush by Councilor laPietra, especially when one of the legitimate and approved requests for delay came from Westerly Town Committee Chairman Overton. As a newly inducted member of the local Republican Party, I would have hoped and expected Councilor laPietra to honor and respect the reasonable request of his party chairman as a sitting town councilor. I will not be anyone's victim of bullying, disrespect, or intimidation in my political or my personal life. I've always tried to conduct every meeting, public or executive, with the same dignity, respect, and decorum. It has not always been easy, but my efforts have always been sincere. I regret the turmoil of the executive session of 7/10. Those who know me best know that it takes a great deal to push me over the edge. This cantankerous meeting, as well as a private family circumstance, brought the edge closer. My commitment of public service to our community spans almost 50 years. It has been my honor to serve. Respect can only be achieved and made meaningful when it is mutually offered and appreciated. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is citizens' comments. We have a sign-up sheet. And you would pass that to Mr. Nunes, please. We have first Kimberly Doescher, please. Ms. Doescher, please.
Is this on? Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Am I free to speak?
You, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Excuse me.
My name is Kimberly Doescher, and I'm a resident of the town of Westerly, but my address needs to remain private due to concerns about my personal safety. My comments concern the agenda item found in the town council report entitled "Concern that private confidential information has been shared publicly." I find this unacceptable and wish to set the record straight. In November of 2022, I requested from the Westerly Police Department a copy of a statement I made in October of 2005 and copies of 2 statements I made in September of 2022. In response, the Westerly Police Department instructed me to file an APRA request, which I will shorten to APRA for the future, at the Westerly Town Hall. My APRA request was initially denied by the town of Westerly because the documents are, quote, "personal, individually identifiable records," end quote, and that the release of them, quote, "would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy for those individuals referenced therein." However, I was then contacted by the Westerly Police Department and was told that I could pick up the records at the station. I was also informed that I hadn't needed to submit that APRA request to the town hall after all. In April of this year, I received a Facebook message from an unfamiliar woman who wanted to talk about Dylan LaPeitra. She heard a rumor that I had filed an APRA request with the town of Westerly. She also shared that Robert Lombardo was gathering reports to show that Dylan has a pattern of being aggressive and dangerous. She claimed she had other police reports. My jaw hit the floor. Here I was on my own private journey of healing myself when a stranger contacted me because she heard I filed a report regarding the man who raped me.
Mr. Ma'am,
How did this happen?
How's it not out of order, Ed?
Mr. Connolly? Your microphone, please.
I have 10 minutes, right?
I understand that this section of the comments are limited to those agenda items only.
Of course,
This-
and this is the confidential information
Ms.
that
Doescher,
was leaked.
let him finish.
The topic that appears to be addressed in these comments is not an agenda item. It is a communication apparently that was sent to the council and is attached under 9B Town Council communications and reports. It's a communication to the council from a private citizen, but does not constitute an agenda item. I would caution Mr. President, that the discussion not be expanded beyond that communication. The most recent remarks do appear to expand that beyond that communication. If I may, I'll pull it up. The item attached is, I write to you with concerns that private confidential information about myself held within town records has been shared publicly. This is unacceptable. That is what can be addressed, nothing beyond that. And these most recent remarks do appear to expand beyond the concern that information has been shared publicly.
I have a question for the solicitor.
Okay.
It sounds to me as if what Mrs. Doescher is saying is what the personal confidential information is. And if she's concerned that it was shared from within the town. Why can't she share it? I mean, she's saying the town shared it, so I'm just challenging you because
Well,
she deserves to be able to be heard.
And I don't even consider it a challenge. I think it's a discussion point. It's up to the chair. The council can overrule the chair if the chair rules in that regard. But it's for the chair to decide, and actually ultimately for the council to decide. I just thought it incumbent at that time, given where the discussions seem to be going, that is going beyond the scope of the communication. And I thought I would bring it to the council's attention. I don't consider it a challenge anyway. It's a discussion point.
Ms. Dozier, I will caution you to keep your remarks centered around the original
Okay,
request, pardon me.
okay. My time back that I lost, I don't know what I lost. Oh, it's,
We'll give you another minute if that's okay. Go ahead. Please continue.
my APRA request did not mention Dylan's name or any crime committed. It simply requested copies of statements given to the Westerly Police Department on specific dates. There was nothing on that form connecting me to Dylan. So how did my name or what happened to me become public information? I decided to confront Lombardo through Facebook. He claimed that there were rumors flying around the town that I had filed an app request. He told me that the rumor going around was that the report's contents were disturbing. He further told me that many people have heard these rumors. APRA requests go through a few people before anything is provided or denied. In my case, it was the town clerk, town manager, the Westerly Police Department, and town solicitor. So just how many people in this town are aware of what happened to me? After learning that information about me was being spread around town, I contacted a female town councilor and told her everything. She was appalled and wanted to help. I then submitted 2 more APRA requests in an attempt to figure out who leaked this personal information about me. I discovered nothing. Private information that cannot be legally shared in an APRA request continued to swirl around town hall when Lombardo addressed the town council at the June 5th meeting. We all know what he stated, so I won't repeat it. I was traumatized all over again. My private information is being thrown around as political sabotage. Lombardo gave enough information in that statement for people to figure out and confirm that I am in fact the victim. On June 14th this year, the female counselor with another counselor along for support met with town manager Sean Lacey and town council president Ed Marone. While the 4 talked about the leak of information, Lacey admitted to telling Marone 1 week before Marone was sworn in that Dylan LaPeitra had been accused of, I'm not allowed to say it, and that the case had been sent to the Attorney General. Upon receiving this confidential information as a private citizen, Marone called 3 future counselors to warn them that the victim may show up at the swearing-in ceremony in November of 2022. If I wanted the entire town to know that this happened to me, that I was raped, then I, and I alone, get to be the one who decides when and where and how that information is shared. But what's done is done, and here I stand. A June 30th Westerly Sun article repeated some of the statements Lombardo made on June 5th. Dylan is quoted as saying that if there had been a complaint regarding to a sexual assault, it did not get to him. That is a lie. According to a police report, Sergeant Bruno of the Westerly Police Department notified Dylan on October 25th of 2022 that the Rhode Island Attorney General had declined to prosecute him for rape. Again, let me set the record straight. The year was 2005. I was 20. I was, due to other childhood sexual abuse, in DCYF custody at the time. I had recently moved into an apartment in Westerly under the care of a DCYF independent living program. Dylan LaPeitra was renting an apartment on the first floor. I was on the
Yes.
second.
Bill, I don't think this, ma'am, this is not, those details are not appropriate, ma'am. I apologize.
He raped me and I said it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Robert Lombardo, and I want to note this. When I spoke on the 5th, I was threatened, my life was threatened. I was going to be killed. And I got this. And you get so mad at what this people say up here, speak, but you don't care about the violence. And it's getting out of hand. Anyway, I was contacted by Kimberly Doescher on Friday night. She wanted to speak to me. I did speak to her for 3 hours on Saturday. And she was angry with me. I apologized. I thought it was only right that I come here and apologize publicly to her. I am sorry. Any stress I caused her. However, after spending 3 hours with her, I stand behind her 100%. The allegations that she made, I saw everything and I stand behind her 100% on that. And for anybody to say that the allegations I made on the 5th were false is absolutely laughable. Now, Mr. Conley, I am disappointed because the April request that she made should not have gone through the town council. I mean, through the town, as you know, and she was denied something. And that was a problem. Now, I don't know who made that mistake, but she started at the Westerly Police Department and she was directed back to the town. And at that point, everybody saw those documents. Not everybody, but that was one of the problems. So I don't think you should be cutting her off. And I have a problem with the town council, cutting her off at all, because a lot of these problems that she's complaining, and here's what she says, was a concern that private confidential information has been shared publicly. So that means she can't discuss this confidential information. I have a problem with you cutting her off about that, because that's what we're talking about. And I said this the last time you were here. You all know about this. Everybody, not everybody in town, but you all knew about it. And she can't even get up here and say what that information that you've been talking about behind her back is. And so, Mr. Conley, I do respect for you, but I do believe it was probably you were the one who decided she had to do the APRA request, but I don't know that. But to make her do that and then get denied and then she gets them eventually. Anyway, I've seen them, as I said. So I believe her 100%. The other thing is I want to know, Mr. Conley, if you get up if I get up at the end of the meeting, can I speak freely? So that's,
Please continue.
yeah. And I also think that you cut her off with the time a little too quickly. But anyway, I just want to make sure that I have apologized, but I think you all owe her a bit of apology. I will say also, I did not get any statements, anything from Ed Marone. I did not get anything from Sean Lacey. I did not get anything from the Westerly Police Department. I got nothing from the town government. I will say that. So I don't know anything about that, but the rumors out there were spot on, except the rumors that Dylan LaPeitra was spreading, which are untrue. Anyway, I think also, Mr. Conley, I mean, you parse this, and Mr. Marone, you've parsed this so that you allow people to write letters. You do it, the same people do it every week. And now you're saying it's a little different when she does it. And I think that's disingenuous and a little bit of hypocritical, but you really should put the guidelines of what you can talk about. If she spells out exactly what she wants to talk about, are you going to allow her to speak? She has the opportunity. I mean, this is an extraordinary circumstance where you were informed about a situation where a town councilor or potential town councilor had been referred to the Attorney General, the Attorney General's office for a first-degree sexual offense. That's extraordinary, and he shouldn't be trying to bury it. That's all I'm saying. She deserved to be able to speak her mind today, and it's a compelling story, and it's awful. And I don't want to sound like Anthony Palazzolo, but all I did for my career in DC and Maryland was criminal defense. Tried a ton of rape cases, always defense. So I know what it's like. And when people say things about victims of rape or anything else, they don't know what they're talking about. It's very difficult to do what she just did. It's very difficult to be a victim. And so I commend her, and I will stand by her.
Is there anyone else, please? Thank you. Hearing and seeing none, we will now move to Councilor's response. Is there any response? Councilor Zialaba, please.
I just want to thank everybody for coming. I want to say to Mrs. Doescher, I'm so sorry to hear what you've gone through. I appreciate your strength, and it seems like you've got a loving family, and just keep, working with that. Thank you for speaking your truth.
Councilor Overton, please.
I'd like to address the Powder Mill Dam.
Any other council's response? Council.
Yeah, I want to address Kim. Thank you for coming in and again speaking your truth to us. You've obviously been through something that is unimaginable. This is the worst. This is such a bad venue for this kind of discussion. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you said she needed to stay. But it really, I don't know, everything is just heartbreaking. I hate that we are in a position as a town that we may have inflicted additional trauma on you. And that's something that needs to be addressed, honestly.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor LaPeitra.
I wasn't going to respond, but I am. An allegation was made here tonight in this public theater here, one even streamed online. I think for the single purpose to attempt to carry out a character assassination against me. Not only is the accusation baseless, as evidenced by the fact that there was an investigation that led to no charges, but it was done in a choreographed attempt to tarnish my reputation and undermine the seat that I was elected to by the voters of Westerly.
Thank you, Councilor.
I don't know. It's a tough one. But I do want to say, I appreciate people sharing but I do want to say that I'm extremely, for the record, I am extremely concerned about the integrity of our justice system and the local authorities entrusted with the information, because it not only affects any potential current victims, but it also affects the future. Because who is going to feel comfortable coming forward and submitting anything if they don't believe that that information is going to be protected? It needs to be kept. And I would formally request that an investigation be launched by this town council immediately, for the record.
Anyone else? Council Cordio, please.
Thank you to the ever faithful rights of way access people. We hear you. One thing I can say is, as an update, the response, if you have access, you should be able to pull the response from the town up from Superior Court on the 28th. Is that correct, Mr. Conley?
Yes, it is.
Yes, and so that response from the Town of Westerly as well as the Attorney General regarding this litigation will be public knowledge. I'll see if I can get it somehow and share it to help people as well. But we're on it. We want these rights of ways. I too will speak on Potter Hill and the dam later. Mrs. Doescher, thank you for sharing. It was not easy. You have been violated by this town, and I'm pissed. And I'm the counselor that you reached out to, and Sean Lacy and Ed Marone violated you terribly. And I don't mind telling anybody. And I am terribly sorry that your private information was released. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Councilor. Ms. Doescher, I am humbled by your courage. I am the father of 2 daughters and the grandfather of 6 young ladies, of whom I love and am so proud. I can assure you, ma'am, this is the first time I've ever laid eyes on you. I never knew your name. I knew there was a circumstance in brewing, but no one, not this manager, not the police, no one shared your name with me, ma'am, at any point. At any point. And again, this is the first time I've ever laid eyes on you. And I thank you for your courage. And I am humbled by you. You came here as a victim. Madam, you are leaving as a victor. You are, because you have a wonderful husband sitting next to you, family, a community, and we, madam, embrace you with our arms because we are humans first, and we are parents and grandparents first. And we love our daughters, we love all of our children. And I apologize if anything, any inference that I made has hurt you in any way. I would not hurt you any more than I would hurt my own child. So again, if my concern was not, it really didn't have anything to do with you per se, madam. It had to do with the circumstance that I was running with someone whose character was being affected. Thank you. Speak, sir.
I would.
Please.
I think that Mr. Lombardo certainly skated in all this. It would be, I'd be remiss in saying if there was a vacancy in the council that he would take my spot. And because of this, I think he's tried and failed many times to land a punch. And I don't see him here tonight, but if he doesn't find a new hobby pretty soon, he can expect to hear from my lawyer. So I would like Mr. Lombardo to know that, and I see he skirted out of here already, so maybe I'll catch him next Monday.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The next item on our agenda is the consent calendar, pardon me. All items are considered routine and can be approved by one motion. However, discussion is necessary. Any item